Huh? What's up, guys? My God. Shower thoughts. Gonna try and bring it into this video. Last night. Okay, so if I'm being completely honest, okay, so I haven't been with anyone in a couple months. And I hate that I have to say this, but by choice, if I wanted to have, I could have. But I just, nah. Part of me, I guess, was convincing myself. Part of me definitely wants it and needs it to focus on fucking some shit, right? I need to take care of business and not be chasing tail, and because it's time consuming. It just is. And but then of course, there's always another part of me that's human and wants that connection and affection, and, well, sex, right? And I guess in a way, and another thing I missed out in these past years, so with my marriage definitely, and then in my active years of drug addiction, shit, what else? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's been a long time since I've hung out with some guys, and I think I'm doing a very good job at it. I hope these guys never see this. But if they do, this is just the cold hard truth. Pussy repellents. There's one guy I used to work with, and we'd go out, and we went out, when was that? Back in, I don't remember. It was months ago. And anyway, I kind of was showing him how, I pick up chicks, and how I talk to them, and how I engage, and how I get their attention, and blah, 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 blah. And I remember at one point, and yeah, I was buzzing. I was drunk. And, but he was, trying to pull me away from it. He was scared or shy or some shit. And I'm like, bro, the first fucking thing you do not do when it comes to, me, what I'm doing, do not cramp my fucking style. That, you want to fucking get under my skin? That's how you do it. And, but he's a good guy. You know what I mean? I enjoy his company. He's funny. Like I said, it's I haven't been able to hang out with guys a lot in at least 10 years. Okay? It's been at least 10 years. So, sorry, I'm just having realizations. So it's been 10 years. So I'm trying to kick it with guys, fucking the homies, the dudes, the bros, whatever. But not that when I go out I'm necessarily looking for tail, but if I see someone it naturally connects, I want to be able to pursue it. Being with guys like him, and last night I hung out with some of his friends, it was impossible. Not entirely impossible, but it made for new obstacles that are completely unnecessary. And they're funny. Like, that's another thing. Like, we had some good laughs, some good conversation. Like, you can say some shit that you can't say with other people, right? With women. So that was cool. But God, I totally just cramped in my style. It's funny because when I went out with dude the first time, I had seen someone and they knew I went out, and she was all worried that, she was worried that I was getting phone numbers and shit. But in reality, by hanging out with this guy, he was making it harder than if I just went out by myself. And last night was another one of those nights. I don't know, like, I want to talk about what each guy, like, how he was repelling them. The first guy, he was like Mr. Respectful. He was I don't like it when girls do slutty things. I don't like it when girls take photos. I don't like it when and I'm like, grow up? You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way of the world. I don't know. Like, you have your own beliefs, whatever, right? Like, good for you. Like, cool. But, I don't know. But, like, he's like, yeah, I don't like sluts. I don't like, dude. I'm like, what? What the fuck are you going to the club for, dude? Anyway. Then what happened? Oh, the next dude. Mr. Talks a lot. Big game. Talks a big game, but has a short game. Can't think of something more clever than that right now, but this guy was all just talk. And yeah, that was off-putting. What was next? A lot of guys don't have game. I'm finding out. There's a lot of guys out there. Guess they never broke out of that mold or something. Anyway, next guy, and again, these are nice guys. From what I can tell. One guy was just super awkward and quiet. He says some dark shit, but he was just off-putting, and like his haircut, like it was off, and like no one told him. It's like, these are your boys, and they're not like putting you on. That's another thing I don't like. All these guys would not help the next man. You can already tell. They'd be jealous and envious. And just a quick segue away from that, it made me think about Tom Likas. And I was like, this guy is so fucking bitter. And I'm sure, yeah, like, he gets girls this one way, whatever, but he doesn't know how to control them once they fucking go awry. He doesn't know how to reel them back. He just lets them fucking walk all over him. He's conflicting. I don't know, like, Tom Likas is definitely conflicting, because he would say, on one hand, he's like, yeah, the bitch is acting out, I just tell her, there's the door, goodbye. But on the other hand, he's like, I don't like conflict when I'm at home. That's what I do when I'm at my job. I don't know, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, why'd I bring that up? I forget. Because I think it's just, they try to make it seem like it's one way, but really it's another. And I mean, like, there's some truth. But on the other hand, Another guy, he has some of those old beliefs. Okay, and this is where, like, I don't necessarily think it's this man's fault. He's from another country. He's on the other side of the world, and he just believes in how the man should be, play that role like the olden days. But that's just not how it is anymore. Like, things have changed, and like these guys, or at least this man. No, I'll say these guys. These guys are just locked in their ways, and they refuse to believe it's any other way. I literally was trying to teach dude about it. The one dude was talking a lot. So he's talking about, like, oh, you could just hook up with females, and you can't do that anymore. And anyway, blah, 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 blah. And I asked him, I was like, well, do you think there's something to be said about seducing a woman anymore? And he just says, oh, it's not worth it anymore. And I was like, see, that's the thing. You don't take the time. You don't take the, you're so... One thing I'll say about all these guys is that whether it's small or large, like, they're all self-absorbed. Like, you gotta remove that. Like, they're all worried about, like, what they look like, how they're perceived, all this shit. And, nah. Well, you gotta be willing to fucking take some licks. And, like, that's the whole thing is with women. Sometimes you gotta be, I wouldn't say submissive, but you gotta at least give them the appearance that you will be. You appear submissive, make them think that they have the upper hand, and then take it back. It needs to be controlled. So in that sense, I understand this whole movement of feminism, if you will, if that's what it is and that's what we're calling it, or at least one aspect of it. So this guy, he just has the old ways locked into his head. And that's what I was thinking about Tom Likas, because I think that's how he is too. But whereas, like, he doesn't know how to just, like, bend. Like, it's like, if you don't learn how to bend, then you're brittle. You know what I mean? Only fucking weak shit's brittle. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't bend with the times or with things that are thrown your way, then you're not very strong. And I think that's what I had to say about Tom Likas. In that way of thinking that he promoted in those on his old show. And with this one guy, and like I put him on to Tom, like, 'cause I want him to listen, and I guess I'm kind of curious about, like, what his feedback's gonna be. So this guy has old ways, and then in my head I'm going around the table, and then there's my boy that I went with, and he just has no personality. Like, it's all just very direct. Bro, you gotta be, like, fun. Like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, I don't care. Like, that's, like, the complete opposite of what he's like. He's just so... And I'm like, dude, loosen up. And granted, like, I went out last night, but, like, because I was just, it was interesting just watching them and how they all, and they were all, okay, and here's my point. They're all hanging out with each other because they're all validating each other in their ways. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that bitch didn't, excuse my language, but it's true, but they're like, oh, that bitch didn't do this because da-da-da, or da-da-da, and da-da-da. They're like, yeah. And like, oh my God, just look at that girl with the big boobs. Oh, that's gross. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, like, by them all hanging out with each other, they're just reaffirming their fucking anti-seductive behavior, which was and it was like, well, inadvertently, whether I liked it or not, it was rubbing off on me. Even now, like, I did fucking have two girls come up. Well, one girl came and talked, but that was just, but then another one, I locked eyes with, and I was just sitting there looking at her, and I made sure she saw me. And then once we broke from the bar, we started walking. She came up and she, exchanged some words. But I kind of was just like, don't know. I wasn't feeling myself, because that's another thing. Like being with those guys like throws me off my game. You know what I mean? So like when that, like, you know, that when we crossed paths, I just wasn't in the headspace for it. I wasn't in the vibe. I wasn't, you know, their fucking awkwardness, for lack of a better word, rubbed off on me. And I wasn't like, it made me self-conscious. But you can't be like that. You can't be self-conscious. You have to let go of that shit. And like these guys go out and they're fucking, it's solidified, and they're just fucking carrying that around. When you go out and have fun, like, you just gotta, fuck it, whatever happens, happens. It's all good. We're gonna have a good time. That's how you get tail. You have to, and that's where Tom Likas is right. The power of indifference. You go out thinking, oh, I have to get it. I have to get it. It's like a stench. Ugh. Hope that makes sense. So anyway, that was the first time I hung out with those guys. Probably be the last. I don't know. I wouldn't mind, like, well, really, honestly, I kind of, not kind of, I'm minimizing. I didn't already know that. But, I just texted Alex because, come on, dude. You're in the road. Pick a lane. Bicycle. Good for thee, but not for me, huh? But like, I wanted to go hiking with him today, but I'm on my way to work, so I couldn't go hiking. I was like, oh, like, that's the shit I would love to do. You know what I mean? If there's no females around, cool, we can just do that. I like go out with these guys, and I think in part they expect me to like pick up women, but then when I go about it my way, like, they would fucking hamper it and like fucking try to fucking put me down. And that's what I dealt with growing up, and I think that's why I'm so critical of it right now in my like I know it's not nice to say these things about people, but like, I remember like my school years, I was like this, and I would get girls, I would talk to girls, and fucking my friends would fucking cramp my style. And I let that shit go on forever, and I let them get in my head thinking like I was doing something wrong or some shit. But in reality, at the very least, they were just fucking jealous. So, yeah, like, and so when I go out, it's like, no, I do better on my own. I'm good. So I definitely plan on going. I mean, they taught me all the spots. That was fucking dope. That was fun. Thankful for that. And I'm all, and like, again, like, it's not that I don't want to like kick it with these guys or whatever, but I just, now when like females are involved, so we go on a hike around the middle of the woods, that's fine. I'll hang out with them, like there's minimal chance for, you know, picking up tail. But like when it comes to, you know, the possibility of being around females, nah. I don't even want to go to Target with these guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's so gross. I don't know, because I guess part of me is still bitter from back in the days. Like, I think about all the missed opportunities. I was like, damn, because I let these motherfuckers get in my head. Never again. And then another thing I tried thinking about just one of those guys. I was like, who would I want to be my wingman? You know what I mean? Because it's like, I already went out with one of the guys, right? And he was my wingman that night, and he fucked everything up. He didn't know what he was doing. Terrible wingman. Terrible. Women are good wingmen, if they don't want to fuck you. Sometimes even that. Yeah, they dropped the ball on that. And so I was thinking about like, who could be my wingman? There's not one. Not one. All of them were cramped and stopped, man. Damn. Not one. I can't tell you how many times I helped someone, you know, close the deal or get it in or whatever. It's funny because they're sitting there criticizing me because they're all, ironically, they're all fit. They all got nice bodies and shit. Well, probably because they're doing anything, because they probably just think in their head like, oh, if I just get a nice body, the girl will just come to me. What? They're not willing to put themselves out there like that. And yeah, I don't know. They're not willing to put themselves out. Sorry, I'm thinking about some personal shit of mine that I haven't moved on. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know. Conflicted. Just see, you can't be conflicted. You can't be half in. You gotta be all in. That's the thing. Girls pick up on that shit. If you got reservations or whatever, like, they will not. It's not up to them to bridge the gap. You have